Okay, so that brings us back to Shadowrun for Season 2, Episode 1, or as we can say, Episode 39, Session 39. And our characters will be returning to Seattle. So, intend to have it start up with you, both of you getting dropped off by Val on top of your building in Redmond on New Year's Day. Well, you had been warned to stay out of the city until New Year's Day by the person who paid you.
Yes. And considering what Jacob was probably dealing with at the time, he probably had little incentive or requirement to try and get around that interdiction.
So you return with Shadowstar and SoCal.
Mm-hmm.
So what did Desrin imagine he was doing during the last 6 months of game time, roughly?
He was certainly planning on spending time back there in Angel Grove to find out more about the family heritage, but more specifically to develop further and understand better the capabilities and limitations of Tatiana, his new bike and or suit and or weapon and or and yes, try and work out exactly or develop his endurance, so therefore he can actually wear and use the suit for more than half an hour at a time.
And outside of Angel Grove at the same time.
In that time, he possibly also, hopefully, got a better understanding exactly what all the giant monsters that were appearing back occasionally in the area, assuming he didn't always go blind whenever they appeared.
Well, as long as you're wearing the helmet, you're fine.
Right.
So you'd be activating the helmet as soon as... Is that the suit? What's the special suit again?
It's the biker leathers that come with the bike.
Okay, so Tatiana the bike comes with a suit, and when you're wearing the suit and the helmet for the suit, it means that when you're in Angel Grove and the monsters of unusual size turn up and all the electronics die out, your eyes, which are electronic, continue to work.
Oh, like the eyes stop working.
The eyes stop working.
But he can still see.
But he can still see.
Still have vision.
Okay, so. Alright, well this is why I clarified it.
And of course, the remember the fact that yes, Tatiana is not just the bike. Sometimes she's the suit. Only it's a bulkier suit.
So yes, you get to spend some time in Angel Grove, but you also end up spending some time in Portland.
Yep, okay, as part of catching up with family, I like chasing down family leads, I'm guessing.
Oh, the ancients put you through a training regime. If you want to join them, you're basically gone to ancient boot camp.
Okay.
This is where your character realizes being an ancient is more than just riding a bike.
What? I was about to say, well, with Tatiana, I hope like a flick the test. Do they want more than a bike rider? Oh.
They do. They basically put you through basic training. And your body has not hurt as much as it has since you started all that.
Okay.
But you do feel as if you've gotten something out of it, so that's not a bad thing.
Yep. Oh, hey. And presumably a significant step closer to actually riding with the ancients. Down the streets of Seattle or somewhere.
So you're going to abandon us when you get fully accepted in?
Possibly.
Probably.
I don't know if abandon's the right word.
Go in your naturally meant direction?
Forget you guys exist?
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
I'm sure that would never happen. And what does go ahead?
Of course, he might also find out that the ancients are too much like hard work.
Yeah, well, that could change everything, especially if they're making you do just basic training right now. Certainly, do you stop being a Shadowrunner once you become an ancient? Like, why do you want to join the ancients in the first place?
Well, certainly from Desmond's understanding of being a gang member of the ancient stuff is, hey, it's no different from the gangs that he's always been part of, and he's been slowly working himself up to the gang,
Yep.
which is the ancients.
They're one of the top tier
What
games.
you do in your own time when you're not actually riding with the ancients, it's entirely up to you.
Okay, fair enough. I just didn't.
Ancients are a group of friends, aren't they? You muck around with when you feel like it. I'm sure there's no other implications or requirements upon that.
I'm somewhat worried by your naive perspective. But yeah, I was just curious whether or not there was a particular event or something that inspired you to want to be a member of the ancients particularly.
No. It's more the idea that growing up on the streets of Seattle, it was, hey, you joined the local gang, and the idea was getting the bigger and bigger gangs because that was more and more protection and capability. Yeah.
Bigger gang, more
the ancients were seen as
resources.
the biggest gang in Seattle, as far as he was concerned.
Yep.
For elves, yes.
Mm.
Very few elves can join any other top tier games.
What was that gang that we encountered last game that were all dressed in white? The elf people? Were they just one of the local gangs of the area?
Which one?
There was a gang in the Pull-Up Barrens?
Pull-Up Barrens.
That's it, the white and gold, which were the elves, the silent peas.
Oh, yeah.
That's them.
Yeah, they were
I'm guessing
the
they're
local gangs
pretty
in the
low
Pull-Up Barrens.
tier in comparison to the ancients, is what I was getting at.
The silent peas are just a little bit above where Desrin was previously.
Okay, alright.
So it was a competing gang, not a tier up gang.
Okay, alright, yep.
So the ancients are a
You
citywide
think
gang.
about the fact that all the gangs have their own territory. The bigger the gang, the greater their territory they claim. And so, the ancients are ones, well, I should say, the Seattle branch of the ancients effectively claims all of Seattle as their territory. There's a few other gangs that actually dispute that claim, but hey.
Well, everybody else is there under their forbearance.
Well, from their perspective, yeah. But in the case of when we were in Fortnighly, we went through 3 different gang territories.
Yeah.
Basically every block, because they were small gangs and could only control a small territory.
Mm.
And most of them got really annoyed when, as technology rolled in with the Dragon Knights and pushed them all out of the territory.
Mm. Yeah, I bet they did. But not a lot they can do about it.
Not with the heavy weapons and support of a great dragon.
Yeah, I think a great dragon is probably the highest level of support that you can have.
It is extraordinary and very rare to have.
What would be competing in terms of comparisons?
One of the major corporations.
Okay.
So the corporation itself having access to a great dragon is basically an asset. Whereas when you're taking on a great dragon by itself, it might not have the backing of a corporation, which means its assets are a lot more limited.
be surprised, but yeah, I guess so.
But remember also that if you're talking a small gang trying to take on a corporation, be one of the higher corporations, then not only, whether or not they've got a dragon, it's still a case of they've got much better and bigger weaponry than you've got. They've got better vehicles, better armour, better equipment, and potentially could drop stuff more if they felt like.
And
it
more
becomes
likely to
that
be
different
vicious.
gear.
Oh,
I
that's
mean, like,
interesting to know.
as we talked about before with the idea of ancients versus age technology, yeah, realistically, they don't compete against each other because they're aiming at different fields, or different spheres most of the time. But, yeah, if age technology decided the ancients were causing them too much problems, then they could probably wipe them out fairly quickly, at least in the local area.
Yep. And then on with that, what does Shadowstar want to have gotten up to? You would have spent some time with the Machine Nation people.
The Machine Nation people?
Yep.
I was planning to head to Angel Grove because it's incredibly cheap to live there, and I want to save as much of my 200 grand as I could. But I'd also, considering we're doing some leveling up, I would have been doing as much training as I can. If I couldn't do some small-time jobs in the area, even if I went down to like basic sort of detecting type, private detectives, because I know it's a low technology area in Angel Grove. Just getting my skills up in investigating and things like that, and offering my services out sort of on a very low tech level.
Well, I think that means that instead of going to Angel Grove, you'd probably end up in Portland.
Oh, okay.
The Elven Nation for elves. Is Tier Tangri in there? Jeremy?
Sorry?
Portland.
Portland's the capital of Titangaia.
Yeah, I can never remember how to say the name, so.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, but it's what I always use.
Sorry, say it again.
Titangaia, Gara, or...
Yeah, well, Titangaia is how I did think of it, like a Gaia rather than Gara. So, yeah, I mean,
I think you'll probably
Welsh.
be closer than Martin.
We're talking Welsh, so it doesn't really, any pronunciation is going to be problematic.
Well, the Welsh have things like, a name like Tig, which is spelled Tadgh or HG.
Yeah, well, the trick to it when you're reading a Welsh word is take out 2 out of every 3 consonants and take what you read what's left.
That's not a bad rule.
Basically, it's the Elven Nation that's based in North America, as opposed to Terrinoth, which is one based around we know as Ireland.
So it's TIR space TAIRNGIRE.
TIRTAIRNGIRE. I'm not sure. Not sure which ones to pronounce out of that one, considering Terrinoth is not how you pronounce Terrinoth.
Okay.
Well, a Welsh person will look at you and go, "What are you saying?"
Absolutely.
Alright, so what's this about Portland being more appropriate?
Because that's the centre of that nation, the Elven Nation.
Okay, Portland's the capital of Titangaia.
Yeah, Tangai is close enough.
Tangai. Yeah, I'd say Gaia. As a phonetic pronunciation.
I prefer phonetic, and if they correct us later, that's their problem.
Yeah. Make a language that English people can not bastardise so much.
Okay, so yes, you could have spent time investigating in there. The reason being is it's close to Seattle. It's a place where your character's welcome. Just based on your race.
A lot of characters are.
Yep. And I would have also been working on my magic.
They're the people who would help teach you magic. As you could have enrolled there with the money you had as a actual student. So speaking of XP, I was intending on giving you each 50 XP to spend on upgrading your character.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to ask Jeremy first to give
Yep.
Ariadna some time to think about what she'd like to upgrade. Let's see if I've got anything left over for Jeremy. So that means Jeremy has 135 XP to spend.
Oh, okay.
That's going to keep me busy.
Well, I guess one aspect, which presumably had time to spend on now that I wasn't actually considering earlier, is the idea of has he spent anything on the Emerald Knight by this point?
He has not.
Happy with that.
So basically, you haven't spent anything. Oh, actually, am I looking at the right one there? Because you're not an arcanist.
Like, no, certainly
That's Ariadne.
he hadn't spent anything on Emerald Knight before the end of the year. But I'm wondering if during this time period, is it the idea that he should be spending something on Emerald Knight, or it's still a future?
No, he can spend stuff on it. Just that I'm looking at it going, how come you didn't end up with Emerald Knight in your thing?
In where?
So I was looking at the character sheet, and apparently I forgot to add it to the list of how much you've got.
No, if you look under the talent pyramid,
Yeah.
it is listed on the talent at the top of the talent pyramid, but it's just the fact that because there's nothing in it, it's a very short entry.
Yeah, though, if you jump over to Ariadna's one, it actually popped up properly in hers for some reason. I know that's Elementalist of Air. Yeah. So that's why it hasn't popped up, because it hasn't been finished.
Right.
So yes, you can actually spend 20 points on it if you buy another specialization. Because you've got to have at least one at tier 1 that you haven't completed.
Yeah.
So far you have 3 of them at with tier 1 complete.
So can you remind me how these trees work?
Yep. You're supposed to have one at each column that is incomplete.
So it's called a specialization tree, is that right?
Yep.
And that's where you get all your basic
Talents.
stats from.
You get for each time you complete a step on the pyramid, you get another boost
So
to
it's
characteristics.
a pyramid kind of skills and
A pyramid of abilities.
abilities.
Because
Okay.
skills are separate.
Okay, cool.
Because what you from the specialisations, you're gaining talent, remember, not skills.
Yep.
Okay. So
The terminology is important, I gather.
Well, that's right. It's the if you think about the difference between a skill is something anybody could learn and build up if they put enough time and effort into it. A talent is effectively that extra spark that individuals would have or experts
Gifted.
would have
Yeah.
in their skills. So like in the example of if you're talking about it like a gunslinger, anybody can learn to be good with a pistol.
Yeah.
They put lots of XP into their light arms or light range skill ranks,
Yeah.
but you need the talent to actually do a quick draw.
Yeah.
Actually go and pull out the pistol before he went off.
The difference between a general gunslinger and like Billy the Kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have 130. I was looking at the wrong person. You have 70
Oh,
points.
That sounds more like it.
Yeah, it was Ariadna that has 135.
Yep.
you did pull up my screen by accident.
Yeah, trying to remember which ones which can sometimes get me into trouble. Okay, so with Desrin, with his, I think he's with his 70 to spend.
So yes, I'll look at the fact that on my case at the moment, I've got my Entrepreneur Tier 1 that's currently incomplete, as well as the Emerald Knight incomplete, because obviously it hasn't started yet.
Okay, so you did complete it last time.
I have completed it.
You have completed it. That's me updating everything in the background for you without spending any of your XP on you.
Okay.
So your character earns itself 300 credits a month just by doing basic stuff relating to your things.
Yep.
Those sound investments will increase that.
Okay, well, whilst it certainly wasn't in my initial planning for the character, I'm thinking that it's appropriate that he at least starts the Emerald Knight by getting some of the talent within that potentially, which means he'll have to come up with a new specialisation, and I might just have a quick look at the specialisations to see.
You'll see that there's plenty there now.
Yeah.
Some of them will suit you more than others.
That is a comprehensive page.
Not all of it is filled in fully.
Yeah.
Like like the Emerald Knight, some of them still need to be filled out.
Yeah, but as looking at it as a group, that's mind-boggling.
So pointing to Jeremy to Gunslinger as being one of the potential ones that you might want to grab.
Certainly potentially fit him, although the other one he was also potentially going down the line of was having discovered that he wasn't so good at driving the boat or piloting the boat when we had to escape. He may also go down that pathway too, although actually it looks like, does the Emerald Knight come with some of those sort of piloting type?
So if you look at Emerald Knight, which is under Adept, it will give you control for using abilities, knowledge of law, piloting and operating. So single seat craft and multi-seat craft.
Yeah.
Including boats?
Boats use operating more than piloting.
Oh.
Because it's designed around more people in the thing, but if it's a single seat boat, then it will be piloting.
But it does actually, like it already has those things that I might be looking at if I was going down the piloting path, which means Gunslinger would probably seem more suitable.
That was why I was offering those things there. I will dig out that book because it has.
Do I need to know?
Nope. It's just behind you, so I can find that one fairly quickly. Just remembering the names of them all, so I had to remember it was a smuggler book. Oh.
So you're using a Star Wars smuggler book to look up the gunslinger tree. Okay,
which
so
will be then rebuilt.
Yep.
So Gunslinger will basically give you things that will help you shoot better, including improved quick draw.
So it means when you're rolling dice, you've got a better chance of rolling well.
Just that I have to translate it to what we're doing.
Having been glancing through the list of specialisations, I thought, big game hunter. Well, after 6 months down in Danger Grove with the monsters.
Would you like to do Big Game Hunter instead?
No, I'm thinking Gunslinger is more appropriate for what he's aiming for.
That was why I pointed it out to you. I just haven't got round to translating it across. Like none of the hacking things have been translated across because no one else is playing a hacker except the GM.
Yeah. So in which case then, we'll go for 20 XP on opening up Gunslinger.
So and for Gunslinger, it will be 30 XP for that one because it's your it'll be your third added specialization.
So it costs more for.
The more you have, the more it costs.
Okay.
because it does slow down.
It'll be the 4th, won't it?
You didn't have to pay for the first one.
But yeah, so I had mechanic as first, or scoundrel as first.
Well, you
And I took
only
mechanic.
you had to pay for entrepreneur or mechanic for 10. You had to pay for the other one for 20, and the third one you have to pay for costs 30.
Yeah, but did I not pay for Emerald Knight?
Actually, you should have. I forgot about Emerald Knight, so because I can't see
this
pop
will
up.
be my 5th specialisation. So
it'll be 40 points
yeah.
then, yeah.
Yep.
Brain not calculating sometimes.
That's fine.
And it was 20 to get the first level of Emerald Knight, leaving you 10 whole points left to spend on things. Would you like to increase one of your other ones, such as Scoundrel, Entrepreneur, or Mechanic? Or a skill?
Tier 2 will take 10, won't it?
They will, yes. Or would you like to increase a skill, considering you have quite a few skills available to you?
I certainly could, yes. Okay.
I do recommend putting at least 5 points into control, because it will come in handy later.
So, if you were to print that sheet off, it would look very similar to the Star Wars sheet?
Yep. It was designed along those purposes.
Yep.
As is the Star Wars one.
Yep.
I control is the added skill, right? Yes, okay. Well, he's the sort of thing that I'm not actually expecting you to be all that good at it, but he's already started.
But if you've done training, then
go ahead.
You'll have done training with it, so...
Exactly, okay. Okay, yeah, so 5 points into control, and...
that leaves you a whole nother 5 points left to do something with.
And...
so something you could add it into is something you haven't actually increased before, such as operating.
Yeah. Let's look at those, and yeah, that's what I thought, yep, but yeah. We'll go operating, because, okay, part of the idea was, hang on, or operating or piloting, one of those two.
Well, you're naturally good at
operating better, because piloting's already naturally pretty good.
Yes. So operating, he's got 2 dice in total, and now he has 1 yellow, 1 green, instead of just 2 green. So it is amusing for Jeremy to go, my character's not good at driving something? Yes, because they separated those things around. Now we'll go over to Ariadna's one. Okay, so your character has quite a few things it can do. It can choose between increasing your arcane or your elemental air to its 2nd tier.
Well, considering I need to get better at magic, that probably sounds good.
Which one would you like to increase?
Sorry, say again.
Arcanist or elemental air manipulation?
Now my elemental air... let's see. My magic specialization, was that 4? My magic rating was 4. My arcana was 3.
Magic rating is 4. Your arcana is 3. Yeah.
And then I've got magic specialization written here, but then I've kind of scribbled out what was there. So
well, you
I'm not
pick
sure what
up
that
the
stands for.
specializations for arcanist and elemental
okay.
of air. You'd already bought those.
So elementalist.
And you have the Shadow Adept arm. So you've got spellcasting and personal abilities as well.
And Shadow Adept. What is Shadow Adept, just out of...
it's the ability for you to use magic to make people not notice you.
Right, okay, cool. I gather if I up my Arcanist, that's the kind of top level, is that right?
Arcanist is about casting spells and making your ability to cast spells better.
Yeah, I'd like to improve that first. Like, that's my dice when I roll, right?
That's not about dice.
No?
That's about abilities.
Okay, cool. Is that, Yeah, see, I go all over the place because I don't quite understand how it works because I keep forgetting every time you tell me.
That's okay. We work
Well,
through it slowly.
this is what my notes look like. As you can see, my haphazard brain is...
Well, I was intending on printing one out for you with all the stuff listed.
Yeah, at some point. And so, you know, I've got Arcana written down here, and then I've got Magic Specialization written up there, and Magic Rating 4 written over here. And so I don't quite...
have it all down.
Fit it all
when I put
together.
it on the page, it will make a lot more sense
Yeah.
for you. Okay, so having that as well, then you could either increase your magic casting again one level to a tier, completing the tier 2 because you've got lots of XP.
Yeah, I'd like to complete the tier.
So that means you have a lot better spell casting
Yep.
ability.
And it makes sense since I've decided I'm going down that pathway to start filling out my capacity to do those things.
Okay. So that pretty much also gets you another attribute increase.
Okay. Is that spending all of my XP then?
Nope, it's got 75 left to spend. You haven't spent that much of it.
Can I then move some over to the Elementalist?
Well, I was going to ask first, what attribute would you like to increase?
We're talking brawn and agility.
Yep, brawn, agility, intellect, cunning, willpower, and presence.
Well, I guess the question is what do I need more of?
Well, with Arcana you use intellect, so if you increase it one more, your spell casting's better.
Yeah. My willpower's really low though, so I wouldn't mind.
Would you like that to be increased?
I'm torn between intellect and willpower. Is willpower, what's that used for?
So
Which one's used for investigation and perception?
Perception is cunning.
Yep.
Ability to... okay, so what you use willpower for is discipline,
Yep.
vigilance.
Yep. And what's vigilance usually? Because I know
Vigilance
we do it a lot.
is being surprised in combat.
Okay, alright. I'm actually thinking I probably wouldn't mind doing cunning. Because it seems to come up a lot, and then when I fail it, it's not fun. Because I've written down here that I need to get better at it.
Okay, so got cunning +1.
So that, does that make it 3 then?
We'll make it 3, yep.
Okay. And then I think after that I'll do,
Okay,
like
so
next time around I'll
before
do...
increasing elementalist, we can talk about adding a few other things into your character with magic
Yep.
bits. So you'd like to, there is an investigator class that I can give you access to. Specialization.
Yeah,
It's a magic investigator.
that would probably be more helpful than most other things, because just trying to think. We've got SoCal to do all the hacking type stuff. So yeah, it's
So that would be, how many other ones do you have? So that would be your fourth, that would cost you 30 XP for that.
yeah. I'm just trying to think what would be the other natural alternative for me, but I think investigation is probably a really helpful one in terms of shadow running.
Well, being able to use magic to investigate things is not common.
Yeah, yep. Alright, I'll do that.
Okay, so that leaves you 45, enough points to actually complete Elementalist Air if you'd like to, or Investigate.
Although I like going down the investigator path, I think maybe doing the Elementalist is probably the wiser course for me.
That means next session you'll have a whole bunch of stuff written up for you.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
But you can spend, you've got 15 points left at this point.
And I spend that on specific skills.
So,
I can't read that
I'm just
screen.
having a quick look at it to suggest things for
Yep.
you. Okay, so you could take corporations as a skill, which will tell you about the different corporations you work with.
Would that be helpful when dealing with the Johnsons?
It would be. So that's that one there.
Yep.
There's
Okay.
also science and more in there that are useful to have.
Yep. Just trying to see where there's a few that I could do it better at.
Okay, you could spend all 15 points on stealth.
Just having a look at combat as well. My combat's not great, is it?
Not at the moment.
But then everything's actually... I'm seeing a lot of zeros here. Mostly
Remember,
zeros.
Shadowstar's not the type of character that works to get into combat.
No,
Including
no.
the close combat.
No, not really. I tend to be magic, so thinking stealth is one of them. But having some knowledge skills, right now all I've got is 1 in Shadowrunning. I've got 0 across all the knowledge skills. I'm just trying to figure out which would be the best knowledge skills. Which one would be the best to invest the points in. Whether corporations, as Martin suggests, is the best, or whether science, considering
Give me a second, I'm just going to look up one of the
kind
ones
of jobs
from
that we
behind
do.
you, because get the investigator especially.
Just realised I'm cutting off this camera up here because I'm standing in front of it.
That's okay. They'll survive.
Well, I was just trying to see the screen because my glasses are not really built for distance. So I think what's forbidden?
Forbidden is basically the
Exactly what it sounds
like blood magic, horrible things.
Oh, okay, yeah. Probably not too useful right now.
Well,
So you also get
potentially it can be useful in the idea of
Yeah.
understanding what you're up against.
Yeah,
so perception
actually.
and streetwise are added from your investigator class, so you gain perception as a possible thing.
Yep.
So instead of costing 15 points to increase it, you can spend 10 points to increase it.
Okay, well, 10 points sounds like a good deal.
Though considering I'm also saying that if you learn something later on, I'm happy to refund some of it, so that means that it can actually cost you 5 points out of your XP, leaving you another 10.
Okay. That
Because you've learnt how to implement what you've done previously.
I will not look that gift horse in the mouth. Does that then leave me with I'm just going to let you finish typing.
Leaving you 10 XP.
Does that mean I should possibly follow through on the knowledge skill then?
Yep, you could put it on corporations and law.
Corporations and law.
Yep.
Yep. I guess corporations would probably help because quite often we have to steal off other corporations, and so that would help with that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And law, that is.
That is basically learning about various things around the world.
Okay.
It's
Because I was tossing up about forbidden or
well,
science.
forbidden would cost you 10 points because you don't have it.
I see.
But
Yep.
science is also relevant, so if you'd like to take science, that's also good.
Because we've done a few science runs recently.
Science would come in handy for that.
Okay, so I'll go corporation science and hope that I've rolled my dice well.
Well, that's a good rounding.
Yeah.
And we'll find out how good your character is next session when we add them all together.
Mm.
Okay, so you guys have had quite a few months apart, though you most likely have spent 3 of those months together, catching up over the equivalent of coffee, and Desrin being surprised at how exhausting being a bike rider is when you don't have the bike.
What happened to his bike?
He had to do basic training and did that in Portland where you were doing your investigation
and
training.
so he couldn't take the bike for the boot camp.
Really need to get used to Tatiana.
So did you
Go
say?
back to us.
Sorry.
Okay, really need to get used to Tatiana. Having to go back to a normal bike.
That would feel laborious indeed. Did you say I spent time with a secret machine something?
Yep, a machine society, machine nation.
Nation, that's it. And I gather that's got to do with my car.
Yep. But more details about that will come in later.
You always promise these things.
Well, there's a little bit of detail. It's not.
I'm teasing. Alright, so we spent some time together, 3 months you said.
Yep.
But the other rest of the... Was it 12 months we had to stay away from?
6 months.
No.
Okay, is there anything your characters wanted to spend a bunch of your money on? Also a reason why you've come back to earn more money?
Well, I would have spent some money, as you said, enrolling as in a school. Do we know how much that would have cost, or?
It would have cost a fair bit, but we'll just say you spent money on that.
I would have probably wouldn't mind getting a better gun for those times I have to shoot, because I don't have Desrin's natural abilities, so I need a weapon to make up for it. But that's probably... And maybe some sort of... I've got a water knife and a monoblade. What's a monoblade?
Monoblade is a thin piece of material that can cut stuff.
Okay.
Almost cuts like a lightsaber in that sense.
Okay.
But it's just made out of a very thin piece of metal.
Okay. So, not a really good knife, so maybe just some sort of... a couple of weapons that might be nice.
So you spent money on training and learning?
Would I look in gear books later for that particular gear, or...?
We also have a bunch of stuff up on here
Up
that
on
will
there.
do gear.
Yep.
So that's also...
Just a better grade of gun.
It's sort of in building as well, so it will get there. But it's not as good as I'd like it to be yet.
Yep. And something silent killing, like silencers or knife or both.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure what I could specifically get, so I was going to see if I could look that up in a book or somewhere.
There will be things that will do that.
Yeah. Either way, I also want to try and get my other projects, keep my other projects funded, so I've always got a reason to want more money. As Desrin always says, poor is his middle name.
So, Jeremy, what does your character want to try to get done while you're in your downtime?
Well, I guess building on his entrepreneur aspects of his apparently can do sound investments. So, because he's got a list of. He certainly will get some new equipment and bits and pieces, and aim to have spares, and so he can set up stash houses and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But a lot of the money, a lot of his planned expenditure when he was rich, may not be quite so suitable anymore. Because he was planning on getting heavily cybered when he had time and money. But that may not be, he may be discouraged away from that pathway when he starts training his Emerald Knight, I'm guessing.
Well, the ancients also discourage it.
There's a reason for you to decide you don't want to join that gang.
Does that include genetic modifications?
Genetic modifications are not an issue with them, so you can actually get your...
You can do that?
Yeah.
What kind of genetic modifications can you get?
Well, one of them is he can replace his cybernetic eyes with better eyes.
Oh. I need to do that kind of stuff. I'm glad you mentioned this.
I haven't been looking at genetic eyes, but
you can actually get... There's a thing called night eyes. There's a thing called night eyes that gives you low light vision.
Don't elves already have that though?
No, they don't in here.
Oh, okay. Tell me more.
Okay, I haven't looked at that because I've done the cyber eyes at that point. I'll just pull up.
Well, it would cease to be an issue when you're in places like Angel Grove, presumably somewhere where you might go back a number of times due to your family connections. So
it's certainly something that is definitely consideration. But the more immediate genetic modification we're looking at was the enhanced muscles coordination. Which is certainly an expensive modification and takes time to recover from. But,
which is not bad for you, because it improves your coordination and ranged light if you take one strain beforehand to get an automatic success.
If he did replace his cyber eyes, did he get back the strain that he lost? Or is
he does, because he doesn't have the tech anymore.
Okay, so that's
definitely something to consider.
It's an interesting addition to it that cybertech reduces your ability to work with magic, but genetic modification does not.
Which is why I'm interested. What other kind of things can you get?
Okay, so other things you can get are cat claws.
Ooh.
That are basically...
Do they come in and out?
Well, you control them like a cat does.
Oh, nice. I really like that idea.
That might be a bit too close to Bolt.
Yeah, but I've got intellect, no offense to Bolt, and because I'm a magic user, I'm not going to have, as you said, combat's not going to be the thing, but if I'm cornered, I want to be able to have something that I can use, and cat claws would actually be it'd be a very easy to, it wouldn't be a weapon you'd have to get huge amounts of skills in. You could just give them a good scratch and then get out of the corner and then stealth. So
when I was saying that before, I was looking at it from Declan's perspective, and the amount of times that Tatiana's been concerned about the effects or the danger Bolt. He possibly doesn't necessarily want to go down that particular pathway.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, because
that's Declan's thoughts, not...
yeah, well, I don't have a Tatiana. And if they're retractable, it means I won't hurt my car, so... So does that show you all the different types of...
The ones that they have here, I'm going to have more available.
Yeah.
It's just getting it all up there.
Yeah, that's... Like, when you think Shadowrun, you know it's got lots of cool things in it, but you don't... You kind of... Once you're there, you kind of forget that... Well, I do, at least. Probably because I've got horrible memory. that there's actually quite a wide range of options available to you, and really you should just ask regardless of
For
whether
your
you think you can get it or not.
Shadowstar can have a maximum of 2 upgrades at this stage.
Is that genetic modification?
Yep, 2 genetic modifications and 2 cyberware is your body limit, because of you don't have the resilience to take more than that.
Yeah.
Whereas it's the same for Desru.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, as you said, I'd be more... Cyberware will decrease my magical aptitude. Or make it more difficult.
One other thing to think of when you're going through this, as part of that whole list, that any surgery type stuff has potential problems and side effects.
Yeah.
Potentially, if something goes wrong with the genetic modification, it could cause mutations and other problems.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Unlikely, but it might happen.
So the enhanced muscles with strength and coordination is another one. Chameleon skin is another one, which makes you harder to detect because you can hide. Enhanced hearing gives you better ability to... enhanced healing lets you heal faster.
Yeah, I probably... I'd seriously consider the enhanced muscle coordination like Desrin, or the enhanced healing.
You can also get strength instead of coordination.
Strength, yeah.
So strength would give you athletics, brawl, or melee bonuses.
Of which all are pretty low for me. Athletics, you said? Brawl...
Athletics, brawl, and melee.
See, my melee's 1. I don't even have athletics on here. Or brawl.
You're not trained in athletics, you're not trained in brawl.
Yeah. But what would enhanced muscle coordination give me?
Would give you bonuses in coordination and ranged light.
Okay. Well, that's the question. Is a magic user more likely to want better coordination? Or with the strength?
Well, it depends if you want combat to be the main focus of your character, whereas chameleon skin would mean you're the infiltrator of the group.
Yeah, I that's I had to... It's too many choices.
Certainly in Desmond's case, he'll go for the enhanced muscles coordination. He won't try and get rid of his eyes yet. That might be something that happens in the future, but at this stage he's still trying, he's still thinking down the pathway of, hey, how can I be better and stronger and faster? And he likes his eyes, if only for the fact that SoCal can put up information for him, straighten his vision.
To be honest...
Of course he could do it if he wore smart glasses or whatever as well, but hey, that doesn't look as cool.
I was going to say, with your cyber eyes though, you know, if you can take 2 cyberware and you do cyber eyes over a genetic modification, it gives you kind of that extra slot for genetic modification.
But it also means that it's harder for magic to affect him and for him to use magic.
Do you use a lot of magic though?
He's starting to learn how to use magic.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's it. I never have before, but apparently I've now developed an attribute that means I could. But
Yeah, I see.
I'm still working on the idea that, hey, he's still adjusted to this plan and maybe not quite yet.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's a lot of options here, and I'm kind of like a kid at Christmas. I see all the presents, and I'm not quite sure which one's for me. So I've got to have a think
all
over.
Of them.
Yeah,
all of them.
That's the problem with the ADHD side of things. It's like, do all, and you're like, you're only allowed 2, and then you're like, now my brain starts crashing. But I'm thinking chameleon skin is probably because there's a reason Shadow's called Shadow, and that is that I do want to be more of a shadow runner, an infiltrator. That is kind of more how I see myself. So chameleon skin is probably jumped to the top of the list. The rest is, you know, the rest is actually just really interesting to consider. I have to spend some time reflecting on what would suit my character. But I guess it's the same considerations that you make for yourself.
Yeah, true. One of the other aspects with chameleon skin is the fact that it can help reduce the ability for corporations to keep track of you.
Yeah, that's it.
If every one you go on has a different skin tone or coloration involved in it, then you're not as obvious as the same person. So.
Yeah, that is a really good point. Because we had to walk into Aztec last game session.
Last game.
Ares, sorry. Yeah, last game. Sorry, that will start with A.
Two start with A.
Oh, Aztec Ancients Ares.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
Apparently we started with the A's.
There's a lot of A's. Are there any not A's?
Yes. Ren Maraku.
Okay, alright.
Besides, the ancients don't start with an A.
Don't they?
No.
They start with a
Start
T?
with a T. Because they are the ancients.
Yeah, they're a capital T.
Yeah, not just ancients.
No, I'm okay. You're trying to distract me from my sore arm.
So yeah, so you don't have to choose now, but you can choose later if you wish.
Well, I was thinking chameleon skin is probably going to be my first one, regardless of whatever the second one is. So Jeremy made a really good point that I make it hard for corporations to track me. It fits in with that shadow infiltrator theme that my character's got going. So,
and if you end up increasing your strength down the line, you can add more.
Yeah.
Because the limit's based on your strength.
Yeah. So yeah, chameleon skin is probably is that's an easy. I won't regret that type of choice.
It also
whereas
fits
all the
in
rest
with the theme of your character.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's very natural decision choice for Shadow to make. How long does that take to get done?
It will have been done in the time you're away.
Okay, cool. I'll need to get the stats on it as well.
Did you want us to roll a resilience check just to make certain it didn't get rejected or mutated?
Thanks. I was hoping you'd forget that.
I was going to do that if you tried to enhance beyond your strength.
Okay.
And the difficulty will be going up at that point.
Yes.
So you roll if it goes beyond your...
If you're trying to install a modification, number of modifications beyond your strength rating.
Yeah. So if you can get to cyberware, you don't have to roll, but if you try to go for the third one, you have to roll. Okay. Sounds fair.
The other thing to think about in that case, if you decide you are going down the kinetic modification pathway, then if in one of your dedications you increase your brawn, up to 3, that'll give you an extra one. Your total number of allowed modifications is equal to your brawn. So if you increase your brawn, you increase your potential number of modifications.
That's actually really exciting.
I was trying to give each person things that were valuable to them. Okay, so the next question I have for you is, what sort of lifestyle do you want your characters to have in the building you've got in the Redmond Barrens?
Well, I was always happy for Desrin to have the top floor, which was his desire.
Well, it can potentially have more than one room there, and the idea is the quality of the lifestyle you want will determine how much your character has to spend a month to maintain it.
Yeah. I'm more happy to really be in the basement, if that makes sense. And then
Closer
just
to the
go.
radiation?
Is the radiation in the basement? Oh,
Toxic waste underneath the building. I
oh
believe.
yeah, I forgot about the toxic waste. Okay, let me review that.
But it's more the quality of the fittings and interior of the building that you're worried about, like in the sense
Okay.
that have you got consistent hot water? Have you got consistent running water?
I'd like running water, but it doesn't have to be hot.
That's not running down the walls like we used to have.
Yeah, fair enough.
We had
Yeah.
running water previously. Like, have you got a decent entertainment system and stuff like that set up in your
Definitely
area as
want a
well?
decent entertainment
So
system.
that means you want definitely not subsystems level, and you
No,
want a
no.
bit more.
Well, I've worked hard to be at least comfortable, but I don't need a solid gold toilet. I'll put it that way.
Well, I mean, I guess one of the questions is that are you still living in the Redmond Barrens in that building, or have you moved out into downtown? Or
Well, doing that requires them to have come into town and sorted that out. At this stage, whatever lifestyle they want to have in the Redmond building is where they start with.
Yeah, no,
that's more the idea. We're bringing in extra fittings to the building, not actually moving location yet.
Yeah.
And it's being done while you're being away to make it livable for you.
Yeah.
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 Well, certainly Declan is, hey, he's got money now. He's certainly aiming to up his lifestyle considerably from what he's been used to. Because, hey, it's always, despite growing up on the streets, he's always destined for better things.
So did you want a comfortable lifestyle, or did you want better?
What?
Okay,
So what are the different
That's
levels?
basically
You're
going
looking
to-
up the different levels of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because like I'm remembering from Shadowrun's thing, you've basically got street or squatter street, low, medium, high, and luxury. Declan would be aiming for at least the medium to high type stuff.
Yeah, I'd be
at least medium.
medium,
At
maybe.
least medium, probably potentially high, if it's justifiably affordable.
Yeah, high if it's affordable, but I'll aspire to middle class if that's where I'm going to be. I'm hoping to get up to high at some point.
Yes, they basically go from streets to squatter to low to middle to high to luxury.
Yeah.
So the idea of a low lifestyle is you've got an apartment, you can bolt the door, you've got regular meals, it's hot meals, not great, and you've got power and water.
Some of
most
the
of
meals
the
even
time.
have flavour.
Whereas and that sets your character back 1,000 credits a month.
And that's low, is it?
That's low. Medium is a nice condo with lots of comforts. You eat some natural and some processed food, and your auto suit has some flavors in it.
And that's how much
That's
per
good.
month?
That's 5,000.
5,000. Jeez.
Then
Is there a 2,000 option?
well, it goes up from there. So the one you had was the street lifestyle, which was free, but you didn't have a house over your head that was yours,
Yeah.
and you had to fight for whatever room you had.
And so what is high? 50,000?
High is 10,000, luxury is 100,000,
Okay.
and that's a month. For a permanent lifestyle, you've got to buy how many months is it?
100 months worth.
Yeah.
100
1
months. So that would be like if you wanted a permanent medium lifestyle, you would have to come up with 500,000.
Yep.
Or like $1 million for a permanent high lifestyle.
I need to do more jobs.
Or you could get a permanent low lifestyle for 100,000, but if your ID that you're using that lifestyle is ever compromised, so is the lifestyle. Because that puts those things on record.
Mm.
So what sort of level was you going for, Jeremy?
I'm just trying to do a double check on exactly what the effect of sounds investment is.
Okay. So sound investment should be on your page.
I think I should have
At the
gotten
beginning
into...
of each game session, they get credits equal to their ranks in this talent multiplied by 100. So you gain an extra 100 credits at the start of the session.
I really need to get that. Why didn't I know that existed before now?
Well, because that's a talent unique or quite unique to the entrepreneur specialisation.
Oh, okay.
We talked before about the idea of like a ability kid might be specialist to the quick draw. The entrepreneur is particularly good at
Making money.
making money work.
So that is something I can add to my tree at some point, I'm guessing.
It is, and as there's 5 levels of it, you could quite literally have 500 credit at the start of every game session.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking that if it's going to cost me 5,000, 60,000 a year to fund a medium lifestyle, at the moment I'm totally reconsidering going back to 1,000 credits a month.
Oh no, but you got to remember, you made 50 grand in a few days when we finally got round to that.
Yeah, but getting round to it.
And your character should have gained close to 300,000 all up, and then lost a bunch of it over the time they were away.
Yeah.
Because having money to splurge when you've never had money, most people splurge it. Especially when you have the capacity to remake it.
Yes and no. I think because of the fired sort of background that Shadow has, she has a tendency to want to share her money against other people who have been through hard times, so she tries not to splurge it.
Well, if you share it with other people, that's still splurging.
Yeah, but she tries not to splurge her own money when she's got it. She tries to kind of...
Well, there's also the fact that Shadowstar is not used to living on the streets.
Mm.
She's probably used to having a middle or high lifestyle prior to getting out. So in that sense, it's not a case of suddenly having money and therefore splurging it. It's I finally got some money back again.
Yeah.
Ooh, now I better be careful how I'm using this.
Yeah, it's more of that case of I don't want to go back to after I got fired and I ended up on the street. I want to kind of be able to maintain staying off the street, because that definitely wasn't pleasant.
Someone like Desmond, he's never had money, and suddenly, money's available anywhere.
Mm.
Does this mean Desmond's going for the high lifestyle for the start with, to see how much he burns through?
Well, I just don't think if I can get at the moment an extra 100 credits at the beginning of every session.
Yep, and if the sessions all happen on the same day, you get that all on the same day.
That doesn't make sense to me.
That's what I was thinking about the idea of how many sessions we averaging in a month at the moment. Obviously, we could take 6 months to go by without any sessions.
And if time passes, then he doesn't get any credits for that time passing.
Okay, right.
He only gets it for the start of the session.
So technically, each session, 38 sessions, equals 3,800 credits.
It would be 3,800 credits, yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So the more you can increase that entrepreneur specialisation, and the more you attend sessions, because I gather if you don't attend a session...
You don't get it.
You don't get it?
That's correct.
And now I know why you're so consistent.
Well, to be fair, I've only just got this sound investment.
I'm joking. Joking. Absolutely teasing.
Absolutely. I'm thinking that he... 300... he'll probably go for aiming to set up significant parts of the building, i.e. the parts that he lives in, at a middle lifestyle, and he'll just have to buy himself a few perks here and there.
Yeah, that would work. And we'll look at doing other stuff beyond that as we go. And so, Ariadne, you want yours to have a low lifestyle, or...
What was low again?
Low
Did I get hot water with low?
Occasionally.
Mm.
Middle guarantees it. Low gives you occasional hot meals.
I really want a middle lifestyle, but I'm not getting the income regularly enough to justify it, so I'm gonna go low for now.
Does that mean you keep going, hey, Desrin, I'm coming over for dinner?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I'm coming up for dinner.
Yep, pretty much. It's okay, I'll earn my keep.
And the idea is you don't have to pay that until the end of the game month,
Yep.
as you've just had all the time in the background putting it together.
In terms of affordability, it's just sounder in terms of...
Well, hey, some people will go, I've got 300,000. I'll buy luxury lifestyle. That will last me 3 months. I can get work in that time.
Yeah, well, looking at as Desra and Jeremy pointed out, we can earn 50 grand in one day when we finally get to it. It's getting to it that's,
And technically, even that process did take some legwork and preparation beforehand.
Quite a lot, and that's
it's like the idea of it takes years to become an overnight success.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I'm happy that I'm not on the street.
Mm-hmm. So you do have a place to go to. Doesn't give you transportation that you can use with the lifestyle.
Mm.
So you have to rely on others for transportation. Your vehicle doesn't have parking there.
Oh, okay. What do I need to get my vehicle parking?
Middle lifestyle.
Oh, god damn.
Pretty much.
I'm reconsidering because I really want my car to be somewhere close and safe.
Mm-hmm.
What's the secret machine thing? Does that mean that...
It will be stuff I'll explain later. I don't want to explain it on camera.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Which is why I left it a secret.
Well, I'm just wondering if my car is able to survive on the streets without...
Again, you'd want to keep that out of the camera at the moment until it's relevant for the game.
And it's certainly one of the aspects from, as far as Declan's going, in the sense, yes. Part of the building that he's apparently owning, and part of the reason, or part of the aspect of, or advantage of the fact that he's claimed the upper couple of floors, it means that he can turn those upper couple of floors into decent quality living space, i.e. legal, and therefore very decent compared to the rest of the Barrens, without actually obviously changing the exterior of the building and or the lower levels where people actually get to see it, and therefore it becomes less of a target.
Yeah. Well, you see, the no car spot's kind of a deal breaker in a way for me in terms of lifestyle, because, that car is pretty much my transportation and everything, so...
Well, and it's certainly a car that would attract attention.
Yeah, that's it. So it needs to kind of be away, so I might have to up it to middle.
Or you could potentially just pay me a bit extra on the side and I'll let you park it in the basement of the building.
Is that possible?
It is possible.
Okay. Can I do that instead?
You can.
It's cheaper. How much are you going to charge me?
4K.
$4,000 a month.
If he's going to charge me $4,000 a month, I'm just going for middle lifestyle.
Well, that's why I chose it on the idea of 4,000 on top of the 1,000 below.
No, I'll go for middle then. All right, it's middle lifestyle.
So at least you have two others with you up there, because SoCal will also be chipping in for middle lifestyle at that level.
All right, so.
Well, might be a few more levels at the top of the buildings, kitted out a bit better. And we'll swing for some decent locks down the garage.
Yeah, we're going to have some decent locks down there. I'll contribute towards that.
It does have some decent locks already, considering when Raku did come, as technology did come and upgrade repair a bunch of it. And the upper floors had been made fairly livable, so it didn't require much in the way of changing to turn it into comfortable apartments.
In fact, what probably happened is in the 6 months, it's degraded down to middle.
I was going to say, going back to the genetic enhancements, I'm surprised Womp doesn't have enhanced healing, considering how much he gets stuck in battle.
Because he didn't know about it and he wasn't an option at the time.
Ah, so it's not
And,
always an
and
option.
also the fact
Always
that
an option.
it's quite expensive
Yeah.
and it takes time to do.
Yeah.
So you haven't really had the money or
You've got to
time
put
to
the
get it
sessions
done
in and
previously.
do the jobs to get the money. So
And you can get it done in Portland, but Womp can't go there.
Why can't Womp go to... Oh,
He's a troll.
because he's a troll and it's elf place.
Yes.
Where would he go for it, just out of
You would have to
curiosity?
pay maybe 10 times as much as you guys, if
Jeez.
not more.
That's unfair. But I guess
And he
that's
does know a street
Shadowrun.
doc to do it for
Yeah.
him.
Well, yeah, he does know a street doc, so maybe. Yeah.
You would actually need
And well,
someone a bit more than a
that's
street
the
dog to
other-
put the genetics in.
Sorry, was that
I was
Jeremy?
going to say, yeah, it might be something because but yeah, access to someone who can do genetic enhancement can be difficult to find.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, one of the other advantages that Desmond's got with his black market contacts
Yeah.
is he can potentially find things easier
Yeah.
if he's willing to throw money at
Yeah.
it.
Doesn't sound like he
Which I'm
likes
sure-
throwing money regularly, though.
Well, we haven't had money to throw.
Yeah, it's true. You would have
Which is
liked
also
Star
one of the
Wars
reasons why we
yesterday. We spent every credit we had. Literally every single credit. It was painful.
But it's also the reason why we haven't been getting things like genetic enhancement.
Enhancements. Yeah.
Because we haven't had any access to them.
Yep.
It's very hard to get access.
And that's why I was on my wish list for Desmond. And not one that was really quick to get for quite some time. So I'm glad that you picked it up now.
I'm glad you had a wish list because it inspired my wish list.
But yeah, as I said, Martin, there are basically the full equipment list type stuff from Genesys and or Shadow of the Beanstalk. You know, you get all the major items, all the
yeah.
significant ones on that for the last for a couple of things.
So Shadow of the Beanstalk is
Genesis rule set.
another rule set
That's
that you
another
can...
rule set.
Secrets of the Crucible.
Mhm.
Yep. Keyforge.
Which is amusing that book's no longer in print because
Oh.
of IP changes.
It's a good thing you got it then.
And I ended up with a second copy.
That is a good thing too.
Yes. So yes, you have access to that, and both of you also ended up with a tier Tangier ID and passport.
Yeah, so we're real people if I could.
But then you do know that your IDs are not registered outside of Portland.
Okay.
So you can cross the border, but you can't actually show that ID to anyone else because it doesn't exist as far as the international community is concerned.
Is it worthwhile saying that we're coming back into Portland though?
Portland people have no idea what the ID is.
Right. Okay.
So why? What use?
I mean,
is
not Portland. I mean, Seattle people have no idea what the ID is.
Yeah.
Portland people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can show
Yeah,
it going
no,
in and
that's
out
right.
of Portland and the Tier Tangier.
Yeah, so it's useful to get into Tier. It's not useful to get necessarily out of Tier.
So as long as you're going through the Tier Tangier government and officials, they'll accept it. But the moment you hit the council lands, they don't recognise it as a passport or an ID.
Yeah.
But we also have the IDs we bought a little while ago that we spent like 80 grand on.
You still have those IDs, yes.
Yeah. Don't know where the details are though. I usually mark them. But
So Jeremy, one of the things your character learnt in your basic training is they refer to those ID as ghost IDs because they don't really exist outside of the tier, and you know the other connotations for ghost as well.
Yeah.
So we've got a level 6 ID and we've got a level 1 ID. My system works. It basically includes big circles, big asterisks, and things that will attract my attention.
It's also potentially another worthwhile thing to spend your money on in the off time is effectively getting access to additional IDs that allow you to potentially, like when you're raising one to get burnt, you can allow them in that sort of way. So.
Yeah.
And then you get safe places that you register with different IDs. So when an ID gets burnt, you have somewhere else to go to. With a whole set of gear that's not traceable to the other IDs.
So it sounds like at some point when we've got a bit of extra money, we need to go back to our mob guy and get a couple more IDs up our sleeves. Adding that to the wish list.
Potentially you can be doing that in this 6-month period if you had the money available, depending on how you're spending all your money. So.
Yeah, well, I'd have to check with Martin about what kind of money I've got left. But I gather that'll happen between games if we remember and if we're organised.
Okay, so yes, you have spent some time apart, some time together, and now you're finally back in Seattle, having spent so much time away. And it's nice to see your rooms complete and decorated the way you wanted it. So whoever in the background had done some nice stuff for you.
Unsurprisingly, Shadowstar has gone for a lot of blue. She's at least got one window where she's got a really decent view, but all the other windows got they've all got blackout curtains on them. But there's one that's got a really decent view, and all the rest are.
How many windows do you think you've got?
Whatever I'm allowed at the middle lifestyle in the upper levels of...
On this building, at least one of your walls is completely windows.
Well, there you go. That's how many windows I have.
And if you manage to snag a corner place off Desrin, you've got 2 walls that are completely windows.
I do think I asked for one of the top 5 floors, depending on how many floors you were taking at the top.
Because the top 5 floors were the ones that were completely surrounded by windows.
Yeah.
Of course, the other aspect is that it's not like any of the windows have a good view when you're in the middle of the mountains.
No. But for me, it's for looking up at the night sky, and just getting a sense of not looking down at the Redmond Barrens, but looking up at the stars.
Or beyond to try to see as far as Bellevue and Stoney.
Yeah. The places I want to live rather than the place I live.
Well, with the benefit of the landing pad on top of the building, you don't actually have to go amongst the riffraff very often if you have Val showing up for a time. And you manage to make it back in.
Or if you buy a VTOL or helicopter type stuff themselves.
I'm sure they're on your wish list. Whereas you will then have to maintain said vehicles.
Yeah, of course, if we've got a helicopter or something like that, but I think we're going to have to be doing more consistent runs for that.
So yes, you have managed to get yourself dropped off. Then Desrin does find that he has a welcome basket in his room, left on his bed for him.
Oh, someone likes you.
With a nice mint on the pillow.
Oh, it has a. I'll say it has a mint on the pillow for you, but the basket has a note attached to it.
Okay. Desmond certainly will be cautiously thinking, hang on to it. And he will cautiously examine the note.
Okay.
Half expecting it to blow up in his face when he first pulls it out, but...
Pulling it out, you do see it is written with the background of it showing the symbol of As technology. Just enough to make you feel better about things.
Welcome home, tenant.
Well,
and yeah, so you can have what you could have beyond the As technology background.
Beyond the background, it has the codes on there for the building manager. So you are the building manager.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did promise you would get control of the building.
Yep. I had thought I actually had that, but yep, okay with that.
And that they had been updated and changed from when the other people were here. So you're the current building manager unless assigned. Someone else is given permission from As Technology. So whoever you give the code to and whoever they deem appropriate are the ones who have access to it.
Okay. Certainly, Dirk will discuss with SoCal as to whether or not he wants the codes and how easy it would be to not let As Technology know that he has the codes. Like part of Declan's discussion with him would be, I'm guessing that they'll probably track these codes, so I don't know whether or not you A, want them, or B, whether you can avoid not being on them if you want the code but don't want to be associated.
Well, with the codes, he would have access to be able to be the building's support hacker.
Spider.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid the word.
Okay.
What's that?
Support hacker.
What was the word that Desron used though?
Spider.
Oh, right.
That's what they refer to as the support hacker of a building.
Okay, right.
So that's why I said support hacker.
Basically the idea is yes, because you've got a hacker or a decker is ones who run around electrics,
Yeah.
and then theoretically if they apply their skills in a vehicle, they refer to as a rigger.
Yep.
But if they apply their skills within a building,
They're a spider.
Yep.
And so yes, it means he doesn't have to hack the system or get accidentally booted from the system if you want him to give you any support.
Well, okay. So Declan certainly say, hey, you're the most knowledgeable electronic and physical security guy that I know about. So I'm certainly happy for you to take the role of that position if you want, but obviously I don't know whether or not it's something that how much As Technology can still see and be aware of what's going on. Obviously, they were able to get quite happily in and out of my room, but hey, it's been taken 6 months, and if we're talking to full yellow parents, it's probably not going to Redmond Barrens. It's not that difficult to understand.
And it appears they also did the refit for you.
Yeah.
And you also find on the back of it a note to you asking for information relating to the archaeology escapades where you were identified as receiving a package stolen from the archaeology, and any information you can provide on what happened to that package would be appreciated.
Is that the things we stole from?
Might be time to go back to Ancient Grove.
But on the bright side, they didn't identify you as having stolen the package.
No, that's right. But that's the thing. I've been back to Ancient Grove for about 10 years. I might not have come up with a plausible story as to how I ended up with it.
Well, we could just play dumb and say we were brought on to steal something, or not steal something, to transport a package. We didn't know it was stolen.
Desron is a courier smuggler driver.
Exactly.
So him getting a package and transporting it to a dumper location and making sure it gets there safely is part of his skill set. And they're not asking for him to come in and give blood. They're asking him to for information on where the package ended up and who has it, which is completely different to everything else.
Well,
That's them
obviously-
being polite.
shouldn't our response be, how much do you want for that information? It's privileged client information.
Well, their obvious response is, well, are you enjoying your hot water? Are you
Yeah.
enjoying the roof over your head?
Yeah. But we earned that hot water and the roof over our head because of information we've got over them.
Yes.
I'm not saying we be cocky about it. I'm just saying that, you know, we could just give a very simple explanation and you know, keep it simple.
Okay. Declan's certainly going to take at least a couple of days to consider his appropriate response to that while he's still
Fair
just trying
enough.
to settle in and, hey, I've got to get my connection set up again so I can actually call them. So.
And while you're doing that, you then notice a little bit of extra on the back of the card that was a bit more faded than the rest of it, saying they're offering 1,000 credits per useful tip.
Per useful tip, right.
Which means that if they find the tip useful, they'll give you 1,000 credits. If they don't find the tip useful, you get nothing for it.
Yeah. So what you say is, if I say, oh yeah, I know the guy that stole it, I know where it came from exactly.
You want to give them...
He's currently talking to you right now. Can I have my 1,000 credits?
Yeah, no, you want to break that up into, I know where the package went, 1,000 credits.
But that's not useful to you.
Alright, the package went to this suburb, 1,000 credits. You know what I mean, break it up, you know, get 10 grand out of that.
What I'm getting at is the idea, effectively, the end result is he tells them everything he knows about it accurately,
Yeah.
i.e. he's the one that did it. Great, I'm rich!
No, technically they
Yeah.
asked where did the package go. They didn't ask who stole it.
And it was
Well,
rather
that's where-
specifically worded that way. They weren't asking for how you got it. They're asking for where it ended up.
They just want to know who we gave it to.
They didn't actually, it wasn't also the question of how did I get hold of it?
No, it was just where did the package end up, and do you know any details relating to?
Oh, okay, well that's easy then. Because the last we saw it, it was on a boat. We handed it over. Then we stayed on the boat for a bit longer, but that's totally beside the point.
Which boat was that?
The one that they have footage of you taking off with.
Oh,
That's
okay,
right.
yeah.
The one where they know that it would not be a useful tip for them because
No.
they already had the information and up on that boat.
Yeah, but that would probably be the safest tip to give them.
But that's right, yes, okay. It's the sort of thing that I can legitimately say that, yes.
Well, who did we end up giving it to? It's...
Well, we ended up giving it to the Orc Underground.
They gave it back to you, and you gave it to Ares via the Mr. Walker.
Yeah.
Along with the doctor, like the scientist.
Who then delivered it to Biogene Technology, so you didn't actually deliver it to the Biogene yourself. They just used an intermediary, so it was harder for someone else to chase them.
Yeah.
Because as technology is not going to go up against Ares, but it would go up against Biogene.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the fact that
To play
based
devil's
on what-
advocate, why wouldn't you just tell them Ares? Because Ares probably wouldn't be happy with you if they found out.
That's why they asked for you to leave town for 6 months.
Yeah.
There's by the time you leak information when you come back, it's no longer valuable.
Yeah, okay. So you could technically say, well, I delivered the package to this address, which happens to be the Ares address.
Or you could say, truthfully, it was taken from you by Ares.
Yeah. Yep.
Without actually saying they paid you for it.
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
And I could also say that, oh yes, I was told to deliver it to the boat at the docks. Things went a bit south at the docks. If he to make the assessment as to where he thinks that as technology had likely information about him.
Well, you could also throw Hand of 5 and Almos 20k under the bus in relation to it, because you know that they were trying to get hold of the virus to release on the world.
Oh, there you go. You can say we were trying to deliver it to someone on the boat, but we were intercepted by Atmos. What were they called again?
20K.
20K. Alamos, was it?
Alamos, yes.
Alamos 20K.
And the Handle 5 was the local chapter of them.
Yeah, I reckon put them in the shit. They deserve it. They're a hate group.
That's me giving you GM advice on how you can solve that one.
Yeah, and you'd get 1,000 credits for that.
I doubt I'll actually get there's actually useful information anywhere because it's all 6 months old. So.
And the other thing is you'd be sicking a megacorp on a hate group, which for you would just be all good.
That's icing on the sense that yes. I probably can't give them useful information because it's all too old, but that doesn't mean that I can't plant a few seeds and maintain some goodwill with giving them, I can tell you everything I know, but obviously it's all a bit out of date now.
And the other thing is, considering you successfully got it away from them, that means they're more likely to hire you in the future because you did deliver the package against their security forces being able to stop you.
Exactly. And that's more what I'm thinking of at the moment, is the sense of the maintaining as good relations as possible with the people who are mounted as our landlords, not that we necessarily want anything to do with them, but
goodwill is always good to have.
That's right. And so, yeah, he'll basically explain the fact of, task was to drop it off at the boat at the docks. Things obviously went a bit south there. We managed to get the boat away and down to I managed to get the boat away and down. Okay. This will be all Declan's doing. No one else is involved, obviously. And however, the boat actually took some damage apparently in the thing. Couldn't get far, but we managed to get away from the firefight. And but then we ended up again in a bit of a tussle between Alamos 20K and another corporate security force that I suspect was Nighterant, but I can't guarantee that it was definitely Nighterant. But by that point, hey, I've done my job. We left the boat and went. I left the boat and ran.
Okay, so while you prepare all that, you also find that there is a message left on your system from one Miss Mercurial.
Miss Mercurial?
Yep.
Oh. Hopefully it's a wedding invitation, but we probably missed.
So you open the message?
Yep.
Okay, so as you open the message, you see your bank balance increase by 50,000. And the words "thank you" appear on the screen.
Okay. And this message was about 6 months old?
It was about probably about four months ago it came in.
Okay. So obviously it's enough time for them to get themselves settled somewhere else. I'm assuming, have we actually heard anything about Mercurial's music career? Have gone any further in the last months?
It's gone back to the charts with a new album, more upbeat than mournful. And
I'm glad to see her career still continuing.
And basically, since you guys had cleared up the background issue for her, she doesn't have as many issues in the long run.
Yep.
Shadow Star also has a message from her.
Okay.
with the same thing. So another 50,000 credits.
Well, that'll help with the medium lifestyle for 10 months. So, very
Presumably,
grateful.
presumably, unfortunately, it didn't contain the new codes for her condo down in downtown.
It did not. As you think, this is her rewarding you for the services that you did to save her and her husband. Because he couldn't actually pay you that much. I think he paid you 10k at the time.
Yeah, I think something like that.
Well, let's face it, from our perspective, we milked her for everything anyway by getting to live up in a condo for all the time when we were thinking about other stuff, not her.
Well, yeah, we didn't really want to live on the street.
It's all gravy from Desmond's perspective.
And so from Desmond's perspective, this is a thank you and goodbye message.
Exactly. He was expecting the goodbye when he comes through previously, so this goes that purely a bonus. He didn't really think he had the opportunity to get backstage passes with her again.
Well, you also, from your own perspective, believe that she was probably one of the nicest people you've actually dealt with, even though she's quite deadly in her own right.
Well, I was going to say, at least one of her personalities was nice.
How many personalities did she have?
4.
4.
Yep.
Well, 4 we came across.
Is this with the chip?
This wasn't without the chip. This was because of the trauma she'd suffered over the years.
Right, yeah.
So she had divided her personality into multiple personalities to each have a purpose.
Yeah, well, that's what a lot of people do with trauma.
Mm-hmm.
One of which was taking advantage of the significant cyberware that had been implanted in her to turn her into a deadly killer machine.
Yep.
But the Yakuza found out one time when
they sent some Shadowrunners to take her out.
When some of the rest of the team did not necessarily maintain their bodyguard duties quite so well.
Who says that nothing interesting happens in Shadowrun?
Okay, so Shadowstar also has another message. Lieutenant Callahan has left a message wanting to catch up for coffee.
We'll contact him and organise a time.
Can I say, clear promotion?
No, he was always Detective Callahan, but he was lieutenant to be a detective.
Detectives are usually lieutenants, usually.
Well, I think my understanding was he was actually detective and then lieutenant, like because they were 2 different ranks. So,
right.
I'm happy that that was more the case. Like obviously he wasn't someone I ever paid attention to particularly, but I think
aside from wanting to avoid him.
Well, that's right. And he saw that Shadowstar was aware that hey, he was hunting elves.
Yeah. Well, I was doing my best to deter him from hunting elves and to get him to hunt the right people.
And apparently he left a message for you quite a few months ago.
Well, I'll return the message and say I've been out of town.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more than happy to catch up whenever it's convenient to him if he still wants to.
Okay, so he receives the message and writes back straight away saying could catch up today for coffee.
Yep. Where coffee cafe close to where he works?
He gives a coffee house across the street from his precinct's station.
I can do that. I presume Desron's not interested in going.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. I'll head over on my own.
Well, you do know he does have your picture.
Yeah. I'd probably discourage it because he doesn't just have Desron's picture. He has a fairly
extensive.
He has a whole file for which I have blurry images of.
Well, on this site, I actually have a section for Harry Callahan, and he's got 8 cases he's working on.
Yeah. I'll buy him a nicer coffee than the coffee he would normally get. Like I imagine there's there's better grades of coffee.
Oh, he says he's happy with the coffee. He has the soy coffee. He's not used to the other stuff. It's a bit rich for him.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll buy him a treat to go with it. He's a hard-working detective.
Buy a donut?
Yeah, well, I was going to go for bear claw because Martin uses them quite often. Apparently, they're really yummy.
Well,
Or cronut.
Cronut, yeah. Cronut, yeah. Some kind of pastry delicacy if he would like it.
He's more than happy to participate in that.
Yep. I just a way of showing that I respect what he does and appreciate his hard work for the community.
And the fact you snubbed you for the life of God.
That I couldn't help. I did not know about his message, for I was out of town.
And if it got passed on to you from there, that would have been a problem.
Probably, yeah.
Yes, because you really wouldn't want people tracing it.
No. And I'll just apologise, let him know that I've been out of town. How are things going?
Things are going pretty well. We did have some interesting things pop up about you while you were away.
About me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I meant to catch you while you were in town, but things just kept cropping up and I couldn't get word to you. But the people at the precinct have put together a thank you package.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unofficially, they'd like to thank you for getting the Ripper off the streets.
Yeah, well, we were...
Officially, we're supposed to, arrest and prosecute, but you weren't doing the killings, and we have proof that it was someone else.
Oh,
and the video footage of you apprehending them and making them disappear. They haven't been seen since.
Yeah. Well, it was a complex problem and one that definitely needed solving.
Talking about that, there was this elf with you at the time. Do you know much about him?
Funnily enough, not really. In this business, you kind of get thrown together with allies you don't really get to know. I actually...
Because we'd like to give him a package as well.
I can see whether or not I can get in contact with him and let him know that there's a package, but I'm not sure whether or not... I have been out of town for a while, so let me work on that and get back to you.
That's more than fine, and on our records at the moment, you've been removed from suspect to vigilante, so...
I guess that's a good thing.
Well,
not intentional, but,
suspect would mean that we would have to detain you on site. Vigilante means you get to talking to while they privately thank you.
Well,
as long as you don't kill any cops in being a vigilante.
As you know from our previous coffees, I very much want to support and improve our community just like you do. I don't have quite the same skill set you have, so I just do what little bits I can.
Well, he laughs. His best skill set is he can shoot straight.
Yeah, well, I can't, which is primarily why I leave all of that stuff to you guys.
Which is why he probably wouldn't have brought in the Ripper. He probably would have shot him. So he's glad that you managed to get rid of him some other way.
It was a complex problem, I'll put it that way.
Would have been lots of paperwork on his side.
Oh, I'm glad to have saved you that time and trouble.
Well, officially the case is open because nobody's shown up.
Yeah.
And he'd rather keep it that way at this stage. It adds to the mystique.
It's pretty sure it won't turn up.
Well,
can't give any guarantees.
More importantly, from his perspective, no other bodies have been showing up for the last 6 months.
Yeah. The more important thing is that these killings have stopped, and they were vicious and brutal, and they really needed it too. And one of the companions I was working with helped lure him in and actually quite bravely put his life on the line for it.
Well,
so,
it was that the big troll.
Yes, it was. He actually was the one who deserves a good amount of respect in the sense that he took the most dangerous part of that.
I'm sure we'll have a package for him too.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he would appreciate it in the sense that he did that rather selflessly in the acknowledgement that this predator was a very big danger to the community, particularly trolls and orcs.
So he hands over a small box to you.
Oh, thank you.
Inside you find a private link.
So a private link would be a way of communicating with him?
It seems to be receive only.
Okay. So I get to be his Batman.
Well, no. Because it's a case of he's contacting you, you're not contacting him.
Yeah.
There's no bat lantern on top of the
No,
the
but...
tower.
Oh, come on. Leave me with the slight... the slight fantasy, as deluded as it might be.
No. In fact, I guess you're possibly right. He is trying to shoot you as his Batman.
Yeah.
As in ballet.
Thanks.
At his beck and call.
Thank you very, very much for pointing that out. Very insightful. So glad you're not there in person to ruin my moment.
But he does pull out his phone and show you some footage of you in the Stuffer Shack, saying just got a laugh in the station as some of your early work.
What was me in the Stuffer Shack?
You having a gunfight with a gang.
Oh yeah, that was like one of the first jobs, was it?
The very first session.
Yeah, very
first and fourth session.
Memories.
For you, and second and fourth session for Desiree.
Yep.
Because he got assigned that case a while back.
Oh, I see. Yep.
So he's just listed it as vigilantism, stopping criminal activity.
That's me accidentally stopping crime everywhere.
Well, that's why he's giving you a comlink, so it's not just by accident.
Yep.
Which by contrast, if Desmond and a couple of the others in the team were involved in that, it probably would have been put down as inter-gang warfare.
Yeah. I'm not a gang affiliate though, so...
Because you weren't particularly wearing the colours.
No, and I never do. I've got my style, I guess.
Okay.
Individual style.
But he does say that something interesting came up about close to a month ago.
Yeah.
That you had an incident at the docks. Do you know much about what happened at the docks?
Well, I'm going to kind of go with like Desrin's thing of I was just innocently trying to do a courier job, and I somehow found myself.
Did he say this happened a month ago?
No, they got the results a month ago. So the DNA doesn't, because of priorities and what the different agencies will permit, it took him 6 months to actually process the DNA samples from the crime scene. Because he's not a priority case.
So I'll go...
That's kind of boy idea. If he said, there was an at the doctor that recently came up that...
I was out of town.
Well, not me, I was out of town.
He got the results back.
I immediately got that he's talking about the same kind of incident that it's just before we got on the boat. And
absolutely.
Yeah, he does add before you respond to him that a bunch of terrorists ended up dead. That those guys are mean. They mean business. I'll confirm that I think it was Atmos 20K, one of the local branches, maybe. Though he does state that the weapon used
Alamos.
to execute the corporate citizen hasn't shown up.
A corporate citizen was killed?
That was your
Mr. Walker
which Desmond stole the murder weapon from.
I see.
But he doesn't know that at this stage.
Right, yeah. Desmond doesn't know that, or Callahan doesn't know that?
Desmond doesn't know that he stole a murder weapon.
Okay, I see.
It's a nice chrome
do
plated
I
gun.
tweak that it's
that
it's the murder weapon?
Well, it's the only weapon he stole from the scene.
Okay, so I will maybe warn.
We'll just have him rework the gun so it's no longer the same gun, which is like replace barrel, replace firing pin.
Yep, I will. So in case I forget to do this later, what I will do is when I get back, I'll warn Desrin that if he wants to keep the shiny gun, he needs to de-forensic it because it's currently a considered a murder weapon, and he doesn't want to be caught.
That just means don't get caught with it.
Well, at least I've warned you. If you don't, change the barrel or whatever it is that you need to do to.
And if he uses it in another crime, then he's responsible for all the crimes done.
Yeah. So,
Exactly. You're about to say the fact. To be fair, he's planning on committing a lot more murder with it. So.
Just be careful that if it's more corporate citizens, it will be considered priority cases.
Indeed.
So you will note that he does talk about people who don't have a system identification number, which is their sins, generally are assigned low priority, and he gets most of them across his desk. If a sinless person dies, it's considered a shooting. Whereas if a corporate citizen dies, it's normally upgraded to a murder or some other sort of crime.
Yeah. Okay. It's not like they're actually planning on committing murders. He's planning on killing people. Different thing.
Hopefully they'll all be non-citizens. Just to reiterate that, if they don't have a SIN, which is an identification number,
then they're generally considered part of a shooting.
Then it's just a shooting and it's low
They're
priority.
not important enough to worry about.
But if they're a citizen, because they've got a something identification number,
A system identification number,
then they're actually going to investigate that and spend resources trying to track down who did
It's
it.
got a higher priority. People will analyse it faster.
Yeah.
So the longest time to analyse things is if you don't have a system identification number.
Okay, cool.
But that they are set to be done just at the lowest priority.
Yeah.
Because
in the same sort of way as the fact that when the Jack the Ripper chip was active, he was killing people every night.
Yeah.
About 2 a night.
It was only when he killed some of the sinners, i.e. real people, as far as the city's concerned, that it actually became an issue.
Yes, and amusingly, they think he did it by accident because they originally thought the people he killed didn't have sins, and so had prioritised them to lesser autopsies, who then found their identification and raised a lot of flags. And that's how Lieutenant Callahan got the job, because all of them were tossed onto him. Yeah,
and he's the one who discovered that they weren't all sinless.
Yeah. Once it determined that some of them had sins, he got the case and brought all the cases
Does that
together.
make them sinful?
Yes.
Exactly. They talk about sinners.
Yes,
sinners,
That's the reference for people who have criminal activities associated to their sin.
Oh, I see. Right. Yep. Fair enough.
Because a sin is a genetic match to your identity.
Is that why some people might avoid getting a sin?
Yep.
Okay.
Because if someone was to take a blood sample or other genetic material, they can generally identify it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It's probably the sort of thing that in the case of Shadowstar, he may or may not have put some effort in to effectively trying to erase her sin.
Yeah.
Whereas
she certainly would have had a sin when she was working with the corporate.
And the amusing thing is, since both of you have had genetic modifications, any genetic material created from you before that genetic modifications will no longer be valid. Just an extra bonus of getting G-mods.
Okay. There's another justification to get regular G-mods.
Well, I was just going to say, at least thank God I don't have to go to church. Because that would be painful.
But it does mean that the previous links that people were able to get relating to your corporate life will no longer happen. Because it doesn't match.
It doesn't match.
Fingerprints may match, but its genetics don't match.
I like to wear gloves. It's not just for fashion, baby.
And if the fingerprints do match up, but the genetics don't, they'll just think of it as a rare glitch in the system. rather than you being modified, because that's not the first thing they think of.
And I will stress, I did appreciate the pun.
Yeah.
So, yes, he does thank you for all that. I'm just
Yep.
checking to see anything else he wanted to chase up with you.
Yep.
So he has links to you to the Stuffer Shack shootings, the Ripper murders, and the Dockside shootings. That's all he's got links to Shadowstar for. He's got lots of links for Desrin.
Well, Desmond's been on his radar for quite a bit longer.
And
So Stuffer Shack, Docks, and what was the last one?
and the Ripper murders.
Ripper Murders. That's it.
And each of those you've been listed with the vigilante status.
I'll happily have that. I asked whether or not he's making progress on any of his other cases.
He is making progress. He's managed to link some bike, a wannabe by the name of Desrin something or other, to a various number of cases. He's got really shaky footage of this person, mostly in helmets.
Oh, well, you know, there's a lot of people out there who find helmets a convenient way to conceal their identity. It's
Important to ride safe.
equally important to ride safe.
Okay, so he's happy to say that at the moment his first book case on the file is about biker robberies done around the Barrens. It's called the biker robberies because the robber dresses as a biker, even though in the majority of the cases he didn't have a bike. It was an irony that they created the case based on that. I thought Jeremy would love that too.
Mm-hmm.
So he escaped on foot more than he did on a bike. So it's actually amusing that the last video footage they have of him stealing a cash register is he had a bike. So that was the first time he had a bike.
Was that the one with Desrin trying to maintain get the police
chasing the
chase?
police, yeah, the police chase.
Okay. So that is you. I was like, at first I'm like, wasn't that Womp or Flogger or someone went in there and just
Well,
ripped out
I expect part of the element there is the like some of the biker robberies when he wasn't on the bike at all were pre-campaign.
Yeah.
That is correct.
They were the ones that Desmond had a history before he became a Shadowrunner.
Yeah. And that was as a general robber.
And before he could afford a bike, didn't stop wanting to be a still be an agent.
No, well.
And we had talked about some of the backstory, so it was just me bringing some of the backstory into the game.
Okay.
And the fact that he left DNA behind at one of those scenes is a given when you're starting out. No one's perfect to start with.
And is this Desrin person high in your priority? And...
No, that's just follow up on free time.
Oh, okay.
Considering it barely rates a mention because the people he robbed were locals, and I'm trying to support locals. Again, aren't prioritized by the city.
Okay.
So the second one I've managed to close off thanks to help from As Technology is what we've called the Stuffer Shack shootings.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, over a couple of days in about a 2-week period, gangs tried to shake down the Stuffer Shack, which he doesn't really understand why they'd bother because they don't have a lot of money there. I guess they are after food. And you and your other customers at the time, he says, are being polite without saying associates.
Mm-hmm.
Though you do get the word associates behind that as he said,
Yeah,
the way he says it.
No, he knows. He's not an idiot. I respect that he's not an idiot, and I will indicate that I respect he's not an idiot.
And that he's not accusing you outright, because that would be a crime that he could arrest you for. He said you and the other customers there put a stop to that pretty quickly, so that all the perpetrators were cremated.
Well, this is good to know. So that one's closed.
That one's closed. Still waiting on results from a shooting at Underworld 93.
Underworld 93.
During Maria Mercurial concert.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That we first were taking the job for the Mercurial bodyguard.
Yeah, as bodyguard.
Yeah,
Yep.
he still got
there was an attack on her at the same time, and
due to the non-citizen status of the victims in the shooting, he's still got a couple more months to wait for results to come through.
Yeah.
It's frustrating when that happens, but hey, what can you do?
Yeah, okay, cool. It's good to know what's sitting in his priority list.
Then there was a shooting in the Renton suburbia.
Shooting in the which suburbia?
Renton suburbia.
R-E...
R-E-N-T-O-N.
A Renton suburbia shooting, yep.
Where a bunch of non-citizen Yakuza were gunned down.
Was that us again?
Yes. So because...
That's when the Yakuza tried to actually get Mercuria back again.
Yeah, okay.
And because of gang-related, that's a higher priority, even if they didn't have IDs. So he's managed to link that to this Desron person who's really liking to want to ask questions to. He's managed to link it to a Georgie who's been incarcerated for his crimes.
Oh, Georgie's been incarcerated.
Well, one of them.
I won't indicate. But yeah, okay.
And another ganger known as Womp.
I'll make mental note of that. Could this have just been like a bit of gang fighting though? Like, could the Yakuzas...
Well, gang and criminal underworld generally don't fight.
Yeah, but if the Yakuzas were getting them crossing turf or something like that, or maybe they could even have accidentally targeted the wrong people for the wrong thing, and those people might have been defending themselves.
Again, he would like to have a word with some of those involved, and clear
he's looking for people to help him with his inquiry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's managed to tie off the Ripper murders as currently pending further crimes victims, because without further victims, it's expected that he's either being killed in the altercation of his crimes, or to have moved on somewhere else and been someone else's problem.
Yeah. Well, I dare say he won't be a problem anymore.
Though he has got links of DNA from the ganger Womp and a Shadowrunner known as Griffin.
So he's got links to Womp from the Ripper case?
Yep. DNA recovered from the scene.
Well, that would be because Womp helped apprehend him.
That's what
you naming the troll that was...
No. I would suggest that...
Yeah, he named the troll.
He named the troll,
but the point being that, but if you then suggest that, that was because he helped apprehend him.
Well,
After already saying that, hey, that troll there was a hero.
Yeah, I already said that troll apprehended him, helped apprehend him. He's a hero. So I've already admitted that. Well, I'm trying to get Womp put into vigilante status instead of...
And that's okay. Where you are deliberately linking them for him in the attempt of getting Womp listed as vigilante.
Yeah.
Because, technically they're still two separate entities up until the time when you respond to...
Yeah.
Oh yes, we've already got DNA on this Womp.
Yeah. Well, the only dealings I've admitted to is that, this guy did help me out, and he did this one thing with me. I haven't admitted to knowing him for anything else.
But you had it isn't the name at that point.
No.
And the second last one.
You've got the opportunity to potentially link or deliberately not link.
No.
The Ripper murder one is his top priority, so if he ever gets further information, he has to follow that one up.
Yeah.
Another job he does have on his
Just
books.
a quick question. I would, rightly as a player, leave it up to Womp to decide if he wants to interact with Callahan about this stuff. So I won't be definitely linking him in outside of trying to get him assigned or already being labelled a vigilante for at least one case by Callahan, so that on other cases there's more chance he would be labelled more vigilante.
What you realise is in some of the videos of the Stuffer Shack thing that he put down to vigilante.
Yeah.
So, but he still you think he wants a word with the suspects before he will do so.
Yeah. So I will leave that up to Womp though to decide if that's something that he's going to do.
The next one he mentions is the dockside shooting that he told you about. That he's got a few suspects he's gotten on his list. One Desrin, one Bolt, one Womp, and...
Sorry, which case is this linked?
This is the dockside shooting.
Yeah.
With the dealing with the terrorist group.
Sorry, I already started notes on the dockside shooting, so I wanted to kind of... okay. So links to Womp, Desrin, Bolt...
And yourself.
And me for dockside.
And the last one that he's going to bring up is because he's listed as support for the case, is the Thomas Martel murders. Apparently I misspelled on the page, but I'll fix that later.
Thomas Martel murders?
Yep. Executive for Global Technologies was executed in the Banshee. And he has evidence showing that the Desrin character was on site during the murders but didn't actually participate in the killings.
Thomas Martel again?
That one was where Womp hit someone so hard he broke their neck and snapped their head backwards. It was an orc that fought you in the bar in the Redmond Barrens.
Oh, yeah. We were trying to catch up with... I can't remember that one now.
And so it was you, Bolt, and Flogger that were in that altercation.
I mainly want some of this information to just kind of warn Desrin to keep a low profile in terms of these cases.
And currently, both the troll and the unidentified furry have been listed as suspects in the murder of an executive.
So it was Bolt, the unidentified furry.
Yep.
And then the troll is... Flogger. And Womp's a troll too, right?
He is, yes.
And so Womp was
Womp was not there. Sorry,
no.
Flogger. It was Flogger and Bolt and Desrin.
And Desrin, okay.
I keep notes.
Yep, okay. So it's the one where Flogger broke the neck of the orc.
Who turned out to be a corporate executive.
Yep.
Son of the founder of the company.
Right.
Which is not a simple case. So that is one that they won't drop.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's been assigned to another detective who will be who has a reputation for catching his target every time.
Or their target.
He's got a reputation. He does say he's got a reputation for finding the person responsible and making them pay, whether or not it's politically correct or not.
It's really not good to stop in the middle of writing assigned to on one line and just leave the word arse. Does he mention the name of this?
It says his name is Lieutenant Colombo has been assigned to the job.
Lieutenant Colombo.
Yep.
Nice.
And there's talk he's going to bring in a PI from Chicago to provide magical support and trace the targets through magic, considering it's been so long since the murder.
So he's bringing in a magical
PI.
PI.
And Mr. Dresden.
Yeah. Why am I breaking these all of a sudden?
Because, you know, you're just so into the story.
I think it's fine motor control, actually, but yeah.
And I thought you'd appreciate the references.
Mm-hmm.
Private Eye, called Dresden.
Yep.
Just with that one, assuming that that's the last one we're going to bring up.
Yep.
Just look at the list of stuff that he's also still on Jason. Marcus Cooperman, what's that related to?
Marcus Cooperman, you know the Genghis Khan chip?
Right?
That was Marcus
Oh,
Cooperman.
yeah, okay, so that was Marcus Cooperman, and so yes, it's the fact that Marcus Cooperman ended up with his head blown off. No, not with his head blown off.
With his legs blown off.
Head blown off.
Had his legs blown off.
In the middle of the Barrens, in the middle of an apparent gang congregation.
Yeah.
Which may have ended up into a gang war afterwards, but at the time it was a gang congregation, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he from his perspective, he didn't bring it up because he actually has no evidence you're involved, because he's got DNA of you and of Lom, but he's got DNA from a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I can't, I don't know that he's specifically...
No,
so I can't warn you about that one.
No, that's right. It was more just player trying to work out.
Yeah, just trying to figure out who.
Get talked about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, same here. There's some of them I'm like, I don't remember that at all. So it's helpful to review.
And each of the people who's investigating will have a different take on why and what they're investigating.
Yeah. Whether it's Colombo, Dresden, or Callahan.
Mm-hmm. And this is just the local police forces of Seattle.
He certainly has a very full caseload. I can appreciate that.
Well, he's only managed to close off a couple of cases, and mostly they've been put into no need to follow up at this stage unless pressing circumstances,
Well,
such as if one of the vigilantes get arrested for a crime that they can't dismiss, then all the other ones get brought up as crimes as well.
Yeah, well, you have to be very careful if you are going to try to help your community in such a manner. And like in the case of the Ripper murders, it was the kind of case that you can't ignore, and just happened to have the opportunity to help out with, and felt was my civic duty to put a stop to such a prolific murderer. Because that's the only one he's got me linked to.
That's the only one he has you linked to.
Detail. So I won't bother hiding that from him, because that would just make him distrust and disrespect me, and I don't want that. And I let him know that if he ends up having any jobs or information, that
He has been requested from the Lieutenant Colombo for your details.
Well, I
as he's got some questions to ask you about the Max Foley murder.
Max Foley murder was again...
It was the...
That's the one who was the fake manager for Mario Mercurial.
He was actually the real manager for a short time.
Well, yeah, true. But fake in the sense that from Mario Mercurio's perspective, in the sense that he got the role by deception.
By deception. And he's the he's
but
the
then
am I
he got-
right person.
Okay.
Then he got blown up by a dragon.
What do I know about that?
You know he got blown up by a dragon, which then crashed in the middle of downtown. While being medevaced from Maria Mercurio's penthouse due to poisoning.
Well, that said, I probably can't not agree to meet with this Columbo because I'll lose any rep that I've just gained with Callahan.
But
so
you can potentially claim.
Yeah.
I don't actually. I remember reading in the news vids about Max Foley's death. Didn't he have some connection with Mercurial?
Yeah, well,
Like dragon,
that's
what the hell do I like me?
look, I'm certainly willing to speak to this Lieutenant Columbo, but I'm not sure I can give you much information, as you know, I don't really.
So that's okay. I can just call him over if you like while you're here.
Oh, right, he's right here. Great. Not put on the spot at all. Sure. Bring him over.
So he waves over a dwarf smoking a cigar in a light grey trench coat.
He has to be a light grey trench coat.
And a fedora.
Yeah, and a fedora.
And he's greetings with a big smile.
Good to meet you.
I've on good word that you had sometimes spent as security for a Maria Mercurial.
I did.
And that you might know this Max Foley because at the time you were security, he was her manager.
Just remind me, what contact, as a player, what contact did I really don't remember very much of.
You didn't get a lot of contact with him because
Okay.
you weren't there for
Did
most
I
of the
ever
crappy stuff.
see him?
You did see him at Maria's penthouse.
Yeah. Well, I would recognize. I certainly knew him enough to recognize his face when it came up in the news, but my job as a bodyguard really did involve interaction with Mariel's staff and her people. It was mainly around making sure that everything was secure, sort of when she was on the move. But yeah.
Well, sorry to bother you.
No.
Goes to walk up and says, just one more thing.
Yep.
Didn't you get hired by this Max Foley in the first place?
To be honest, it was a long time ago, so I'm not quite sure. I'd have to check to see. Do I remember how I got?
The whole party was hired by Max Foley.
Well then, if you say so, I would trust your records better than my memory. You seem like a very thorough gentleman.
Sure. And do you have a contact number in case I need to reach out?
Detective Callahan certainly knows how to contact me. Is it safe to give my number to? Do I have a safe number to give?
Well, each of your IDs would have a number, but there's a good chance whatever number you give him, he'll run. I
guess whatever number I've already shared with Callahan, I'll have to give him the same one. I'm kind of in a corner there, so I will share that contact, and just hope I don't burn my ID because it cost me a lot.
I understand.
Making mental note to save up for new ID.
He goes, the Tietzel building. I know that well.
I'm subletting space.
If I have any questions, I know where to reach you, he says as he walks out.
Yeah, I'm pretty busy, so I would appreciate the courtesy of some contacts so I can at least make sure that I'm there for you. I don't know who the other residents there are, but there's certainly security on the door, so it'd be nice to let you in. And make sure you're not inconvenienced and waiting around for too long.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. I'll take note of the cigars that he's smoking, in case I come across something along those lines. And
it's a fairly distinctive, cheapish cigar.
yeah, well then, I won't be done for bribing him too much if they're a cheap cigar. But I'll make sure I've got some on hand in case I do get him as a visitor. I really don't want him as a visitor. And I'm going to now have to... I don't have the codes to the building though, so he might be stuck.
Well, you have enough to get in yourself and to let someone in while you're there.
Yeah, I'm more likely to meet him at the door and be just leaving my place anyway and not letting him walk in and sending a text out to all of my roomies to say stay inside, the blasted detectives turned up, damn it, I have to move. Damn it, I have to move. I've just gotten set up here.
I know.
Really? You had to do that to me. I'm paying $5,000 a month for this place.
Yep. Hey, if Desmond had been there, Desmond would have been a lot unhappier.
I'm just going to see if I can always meet him elsewhere for now, and if that can't happen, then I will have to move.
Because he's leaning on Callahan to do stuff for him.
Yeah.
Which is what Callahan had mentioned.
Yeah, and look, I don't want to put... I'm trying to build up Callahan as a source to help us with our various investigations, so I don't want to burn him just yet.
So what you've
He's
learned...
also building you up.
Yeah, of course.
What you've learned of Callahan, he's the bottom rung of the detective pool, assigned to the jobs no one else wants in the Redmond region. So people who don't have IDs are generally who he's assigned to. He's rarely brought in for other cases.
So I chose... I did not choose well in terms of contacts.
Well, he has been assigned to most of the cases that your party has done badly on.
And the point is also, he's been assigned, he's effectively the best police contact in the area where you were living.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas Colombo is the top tier detective of the city, assigned to all the high ranking jobs that don't pull in outside attention.
Is there an unspoken slight against Colombo versus Harry, Dirty Harry?
Very much so.
Yeah, I'm teasing.
Well, also the thing that Colombo's the dwarf makes a lot of other people uncomfortable.
Why?
Because non-human.
Oh, okay. I think as an elf that doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother him either.
Mm.
He deals with everyone, which is why he gets away with being politically incorrect.
Yeah, I have a feeling he pushes his luck wherever he can, but that's not surprising considering who he's named after. Alrighty. Well, that was fun. There's a part of me that kind of wants to look at Callahan and go, gee, thanks.
He shrugs and says he had money on you being able to not be arrested today.
Yeah.
He won that pool.
Oh, nice. Well, next time I'm going to have to know where that pool is and place a bet myself, because, to be honest, I wouldn't be sure of the outcome.
He wasn't.
Well, he said he bet on you not being arrested today.
Yeah.
He put the bet on for 3 days' time.
Yeah. When Columbo shows up at my bloody door with just one more question. Like 5 times. Until I talk myself into a circle that not even Bolt can follow.
Well, he hasn't dropped other things on you yet, because you'd assume he has a lot more than he's telling you.
Oh yeah, based on all that information that we just got from that meeting of all the bits of DNA and that, Womp, Flogger and Bolt are in a lot of trouble. Desrin, I think, might be able to squirm his way out of it.
Having changed DNA.
That
Yeah.
makes a big difference. That was why I was mentioning the benefits of it to you.
Maybe we need to do some gen mods to...
Well, no. There's an important spell that I don't know whether it's actually in the or the equivalent in Genesys, but
Yeah.
in Shadowrun, there's an important spell called Sanitize.
Right.
That's designed to be an area effect, effectively cleaning bomb.
How do I get hold of this spell?
The idea of it is that as you leave the scene of crime, you cast that to actually destroy any DNA.
I'm a
evidence.
magic user now. I
Right.
really need this spell. How do I get it?
I will look at how to convert it across, but that's on the back list of stuff.
Okay.
I was going to look at how to make how each of the spells of Shadowrun work in Genesys, and whether or not they're an enhancement to an existing spell or not.
I've got like 5 asterisks around it in a big box. Because if anything, I want to learn from this session.
Well, I thought you'd appreciate I did the background work on what you'd done over the last game year, so that covers how Lone Star has seen your characters over 38 sessions.
Okay, right.
Yep. And more.
Yep.
In the case of Jason.
Yeah.
Pre-campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, with the biker... What was he?
The biker robberies.
Yeah, the biker robberies.
Whereas also for your guys' interest, Ares has you down as 2 complete runs with them. As in you have rep with Ares for completing jobs.
Yep.
And
having met them in person through so they definitely know who we are because we met them directly.
Yep, that's actually in there too.
Yes and no. We've now genetically modified ourselves, and I now have camouflage. So they used to know me. I'm somebody they used to know.
As technology has files on you being vigilantes for the Stuffer Shack.
As technology have us as fails.
Has you as vigilantes out of the Stuffer Shack.
As vigilant.
And once they've identified you, they will give you a monthly bonus of 100 credits.
Because remember, the Stuffer Shack owned by Ag Technology.
Yeah.
The idea is that they're thinking, oh, hang on, these guys, they provide some security.
So they are rewarding you for your crimes. And you have a feeling that they also pressured the police not to prosecute.
So you said once they identify us.
Yes. That will come a bit later.
Okay, cool.
Because I'm still working on that one.
Yep, no, that's fine.
It also has details of how you got the building.
Right. Yep.
In there, which is called the Mercurial Waste Incident.
The Mercurial Waste Incident.
Then there's the Ice Cream Parlor Incident.
Which one's that one?
Where Flogger, Bolt, Womp and Georgie were given a detailed scan and samples taken.
Oh, okay.
Before you broke them out with Desiree.
At Flogger's birthday party.
Yeah.
Okay, I have no memory of that whatsoever. I realised I was there, just no memory.
Session 10. That's
okay. You may not have been there for it.
Yeah,
it was one that it didn't involve all part. Well, I know it was one that Desmond, I was there for the session. He just specifically was not going to the birthday party.
Ariadna was there, but she like you was not in the birthday party.
Yeah.
You and her were the only ones who didn't go in. Everyone else went in for free ice cream.
Yeah, because we're unlike in real life. I'm not addicted to ice cream in this game.
And the last one I have up there at the moment
That's
is
a good idea for later.
The SimSense investigations, where you managed to get yourself into Ratman 6, which became Fast and the Furious 17.
Sorry, the what?
A movie. They got themselves into a movie.
Oh, okay.
Your character was
the one where Desmond showed off his driving skills and including doing the Malcolm.
Yep. Nice.
And
when the band got cut in two.
Yep.
The fact that the tickets will be available to use in a month's time. So you got a month before the movie officially releases to the public, and you've got 10 opening day tickets.
Oh, nice.
So you got to see one of the pre-release premieres.
But I can understand we're not keep royalties, so
No.
yeah, nice.
Well, the only one amongst you who has a name registered with them is Womp. Everyone else was unknown person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, it was a great memory, and it got you what you needed in terms of, did it gain him skills?
Well, he got practice.
I got seen by the right people.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was trying to say.
Ancients did witness some of the stuff you did, and
You were noted.
and noted down.
Yeah.
But I thought you'd appreciate that was kept for prosperity.
Yeah.
And that I did put in dates for other stuff, because it also relates to when the reason Georgie got arrested is Georgie killed someone during the premiere. Not the party Georgie, but another Georgie.
A Georgie. Yep. Mm.
And because the DNA was left behind, they arrested the party's Georgie for the other Georgie's crime.
Yeah. Oh, that was going to happen at some point. How many Georgies were there?
Well,
100?
They don't know.
Okay. To be fair, there are other Georges who got in trouble for what our Georgie did too, so...
That's
what
true.
goes around comes around.
Yeah, that is true.
So I thought you'd appreciate how Georgie got arrested.
Yep.
Yep. Just for a reference, Martin, Gabriel was certainly not going off to see Callahan, but basically once he's got himself settled in and looked at his gift basket and things like that, his main intent for the first few days when we get back to Seattle will be going around his stomping grounds, the Barrens, and remarking his territory as far as he understands it to be, i.e. catching up with a couple of people and things like Jimmy the squatter if he's still alive, and Jason the Scuff Shack storeman. But yeah, basically just going around and letting people know, the white people know that he's back in town and ready for biz.
Yeah, I think Callahan's the only main contact I have. The other contacts I did have were really only contacts for jobs, specific jobs rather than long-term informants. So I guess I've got to try and develop more longer-term contacts as well.
So yes, I'm sure you can have a coffee house open up in the basement of the foyer of the building. Continuing the coffee theme.
Well, it's where we can conveniently meet Columbo, maybe.
Yeah,
and if any of the group that he's identified happen to come through, I can at least claim they're just customers as far as I know.
Well, I suppose, okay, the oddity would be, who are you planning on having customers in the middle of the Barrens at a coffee shop, but it does also, as you say, provide a cover as to why your sin is associated to that location.
Yeah, that's...
It's not your home, it's just where you work.
Yeah, well,
you also own it, so...
I own it, and it could be, one of those coffee shops / food service places / ice creamery / whatever will function in the Barrens.
So what do you call it?
Off the top of my head, I am not sure.
Star Coffee?
Well, no. Considering where you're located and who owns the building, you might want to go with Stuffer Cafe.
Well, I was actually going to go some sort of cafe.
As in apparently a
cafe shack
or Stuffer Shack. Right.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Cafe shack.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's the coffee version of Stuffer Shack. I don't know though. If I do that though, would Aztec maybe come and ask for royalties? I don't really want to risk that.
On the fact that as technology may not like you setting up and have a competition with their business in their own building.
Yeah.
Even though they don't just have a Stuffer Shack in the building.
So maybe I can give that.
Well, would you like them to open a Stuffer Shack in the building?
Yeah.
Hey, it's convenient.
It is convenient. It would. I'm just not sure about the complications.
Well,
Would they pay us rent?
They wouldn't pay you rent, they would pay the corporation rent.
Okay, yeah.
Because technically you don't own the building, you're
No.
just managing the building for
Yeah.
access and reduced rates.
Yeah, I guess if they manage it and run it and everything like that, then we've got the convenience without having to be bogged down in the day-to-day
You
maintenance
don't have
of
to
it.
drive off to the stuffer shack, you just have to go downstairs.
Yeah. Well,
And also from Aztec perspective, after we've been there for a while, the security in the area probably improved. So
Yeah.
something. Oh, hang on, maybe it becomes a more viable location for a stuffer shack.
Yeah.
And plus it gives them on-site security in case there's a need.
yep. Okay, that sounds like a better idea than a stuffer shack.
So is this where Desrin gets a beep 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 stuffer shack being held up? Crap!
On
You don't
ground
necessarily
floor.
need more additional Aztec personnel on site. But again, you also recognise you don't necessarily have a lot of choice in the matter.
Though you do find that your contact from the other store got moved here with the opening.
Jason. Yep. Well, that makes it a bit convenient for you as well. So.
Well, depends whether somebody actually still maintains effectively worthwhile information, or who's going to get the same information I might just get from, hey, speaking to the other people in the building.
Yeah.
But he does talk to the people on the street who come in and get stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
no,
true.
no. I've certainly, yeah, if there's going to be a stuffer shack down on street level, then being on good terms with at least one of the employees is certainly good as well. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so sounds like we kind of set ourselves up for the next
Session,
bit of the campaign.
where the elves will have to do some in-between stuff with me to get their stuff sorted out.
Yeah.
But at least they can have some idea of what's happened if they watch.
Yep.
And that they know that some of them are in for a wild ride.
Yeah.
Especially considering you would see news reports with floggers' face popping up on them occasionally, wanted for murder.
That's not going to be great for our rep. Well,
Well,
floggers. Oh, that's
It's good for the rep in certain
Yeah.
circles.
yeah. Good for the rep, not good for flogger. Is what I was trying to say.
And potentially less advantageous for those living in the same building.
Yes.
And then
Flogger might want to go down to Angel Grove for a bit.
and it does have a reward for information leading to capture of the suspect of 10,000 credits. So in the Barrens, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, we definitely have to have a word with Flogger. we might have
Well,
to relocate him for a bit or give him face.
Either that or collect early before someone else does.
Well, yeah. You and I both thinking the same thing, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I have to beat Desrin to it.
Plus, the bad side of things is, if he's captured alive, which it requires, he might dub you in.
Yeah, it might be safer to relocate him, if he's open to being relocated.
Considering, I'm sure he'll admit to stuff that you didn't do just so he gets ice cream.
Or genetic,
Or doors.
or physical modification. Do trolls have distinctive features? I presume they do.
He has.
I presume they're
sti-
just as
distinctive
individual
horns
as any other people.
and
That's
tattoos.
right.
Yeah.
There'd be those, and like, almost 2,000 or 20,000 personnel probably can't see distinguishing difference between
Yeah.
them.
But I
yeah.
presume that ordinary, decent people do understand that they're individuals in their own right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be a complication for next session.
Next session. But I thought you would end on the session with that nice bit of complication. Desrin's had his little catch up with his contacts, so they all know he's back on the job.
Mm.
Yep.
And most of them are still around.
Mm.
I'm glad to see that Jimmy survived the streak for another 6 months.
Yep. Mustn't be an easy thing to do when you think about it.
Well, while it has a high mortality rate, the further away they are from the authorities, the more likely that they will gather in groups and survive, because it's a community, not a individual living on their own.
Mm. That's good to know. Alrighty.
Anyway,
That's us for tonight then.
That ties us
thank
off
you
to
very much for that, Martin. Thanks very
Good.
much.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
I will catch you guys on Friday.
You will, and it'll be an interesting thing to see how everything rocks up next time.
Yep.
All good.
All
right.
good. Thank you.
Have a good night all.
See
Thanks
you.
very much. We'll catch you later.
Catch you later.